Hello, all my lovely people out there. So today we are talking about Tom Ford Holiday, and specifically whether the Tom Ford Holiday this year is worth picking up if you bought the Tom Ford Holiday last year. So on one eye, I have Black Diamond from this year, and the other eye, I have Lumière de Verre from last year. Can you tell which is which? If you can't, then I think I would say there's no reason to pick up Holiday this year if you have last year's collection. Vice versa, if you never picked up last year's collection and you can't find it anymore because it was limited edition and you loved it, Black Diamond would be the perfect quad to pick up because it's very, very similar. So what I would say, looking at the two, and I'm going to show you me putting them on, this eye is last year's. This is Lumière de Verre. This eye is this year's, and it's Black Diamond. So I tried to put them on the exact same way. You'll see I used the dark shade first and diffused it out, made that the crease, and diffused it basically all over the eye to give this a deeper, more dramatic look. Then I took the very light shade and put it over everything, which does cool it down and does make it more of a purple shade, especially with the new Black Diamond. The de Verre is more neutral, but it still has a coolness to it. Then I took the satiny shades that are in each and put them on the outer corner of the eye, the outer V, and made sure that they were not well blended. I wanted to keep it a little bit sort of like packed on. Then I took the most shimmery shade, put it all over the eye, and lined my eyes with the deepest shade in each and overlined it with the satin shade. And then you get the final look. And when you look at these two, they are very, very similar on the eye. The difference being that the Black Diamond has more sparkle to it than the de Verre. The de Verre is more satiny, more luminescent. The Black Diamond looks more like diamonds, more sparkle. The deepest shade is darker and deeper, and the satin that's in here in the Black Diamond is a deeper shade. Last year's de Verre is more, it's close to the same shade as the sparkly shade that I put all over the eye. So it's lighter in tone. It's not as deep in the deeper shades. They're lighter in general. So when you look at the two palettes, you'll see the similarities just as soon as you look at them. But you can also see what I'm talking about when I say it's a little bit lighter. So this is de Verre, this is Black Diamond. And so you can see that the deepest shade in the last year's is a little bit more neutral, a little warmer. This one's a little cooler. You can also see that the satin shade in here is much deeper than the one in here. So this is a lighter color palette overall, and this is a cooler one. But on the face, on the eye, for the purposes of somebody standing across a room and looking, I don't know if they'd be able to tell the difference. I can tell the difference in my 10x mirror that I'm looking at right now. There is a difference, and I called those differences out, but I don't think it's drastic enough to where I personally would buy the new Holiday quad if I had the old one, if it wasn't for all of you and, you know, my channel and my job here explaining the differences. If I was just buying makeup for myself, I think I'd be like, it's similar enough to last year's. If I hadn't bought last year's, I would buy this year because I do like the look that you get from both of these quads. I think it's a really beautiful, cool tone, luminous, shimmery look. I like the formula. I like the creme formula better, but this is a good formula. It's powdery. It is powdery, but it blends really well. And personally, I just think it looks good on me. Like, I like the shades. So that would be my decision, my decision tree, my process, if I was deciding. I also wanted to mention the highlighter from last year versus this year. So last year was Rose Iris, which is like my favorite highlighter I think that Tom Ford's ever done. Yeah, I think it is. I'm like, is that true? I think it is my favorite highlighter that he's done. I really like this one. I like a pink highlighter. I know you guys have asked about Hermes and their highlighter. I do plan on picking, I am getting it. I don't have it yet though. It's not as pink. It's like more of a neutral, but I am getting it, so I will compare all of these. But the Rose Iris is one of my favorites from Tom Ford. I really, really like the color. I like the formula. I think it looks beautiful on. Again, one of my favorites. I think you can still get this one. I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive of that. Now that I think about it, I'm like, and if you can't, well, I'll have links below. I can't remember, but I feel like I saw it somewhere. But anyway, it's a very icy pink highlighter, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful on the skin. This year, you have the High Altitude, which is a cream product with highlighter and blush. And I talked about this. This is a very glossy, very healthy looking product. This is not for somebody who wants a lot of makeup. This is for somebody who wants that natural flushed look. And the reason I bring that up is because it's, you know, these two products, the Rose Iris from last year and this High Altitude from this year, I think are very different. Like, I don't even think, they're just very, very different products. They're, in some ways, for totally different people, which I think is really interesting considering that the eyeshadow is basically the same. But anyway, do you see how that looks just like a natural flush of the skin? Like, oh, I'm just healthy and glowy and everything. And then this side, you get that highlight. You know, it's like the woo highlight. Now, I don't generally like that. I don't generally like a really blingy highlight. This one is blingy, I will say, for me, but it's not blingy compared to like a lot of highlights out there. If you were gonna ask me which one I like more, that's a tough one. I guess I like this more because it's more what I would probably use more often, but this is such a pretty highlighter, and it's, like I said, I think my favorite from Tom Ford, so it's hard for me to kind of decide. I mean, I like them both, but I think they're very different products, unlike the eyeshadows. On my lips is the Phantom Gloss. This is a Tom Ford gloss and the Tom Ford liner in Reese. These are available, you can pick them up. So, you know, overall, I just feel like it's one of those things when it comes to the eyeshadows, it really does depend on the things that I mentioned before about whether you had it before, you know, whether you just love the color story or not. And the cheek products, I think, are so different that I think it really does depend what kind of highlighter cheek product you're looking for, because they're totally different products. So, Tom Ford, hopefully next year, comes out with a very different color story for eyeshadows for the holidays. Again, I really like these, but I think the eyeshadow, anyway, is extremely similar to last year's. I'd love to know your thoughts, whether you picked it up, whether you have both seasons, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in another video really soon.